So do you ever wonder how someone who's on a very similar salary to you is able to save loads of money every month, whereas you are someone who lives paycheck to paycheck and can barely save? Well, in this video, what I'm going to do is something completely different that I haven't done before. I'm going to look at the lives of two imaginary people with the exact same salary, okay, who are living in the exact same part of London. However, one is able to save a bucket loads every month and the other person is scrimping a lot and not able to save. I'm going to go through real life examples of apartments that you can rent right now in the market, of areas where these people may go that actually exist, and to kind of showcase and compare how people spend money and kind of the psychology of how people deal with the pot of money that they have. So let's name our two characters James and Lily. So both James and Lily make £45,000 as a salary every year. So every month they both get the same amount of money into their bank account, which is £2,889.94. Let's start with Lily first. So Lily is new to London and she wants a sense of independence, so she is looking for a studio apartment to live by herself. She really likes the area of West London called Notting Hill, which she is of course known from that rom-com movie from the 90s that everyone loves. So she is looking on Rightmove right now and she has found this one-bedroom flat for £1,960. This area is about a 6-minute walk from Portobello Market, is currently on the market, is a real life apartment, and she has decided that she's going to go for this one. Yes, it is a little bit pricey, but she feels like it's worth it for the area. So straight off the bat, this is about 68% of Lily's monthly income is going towards her studio apartment before any bills. Now, in comparison, let's look at James. James also likes Notting Hill because of course he loves the movie, but also there's a lot of greenery around there, so he likes to go for walks and cycle and is very active. So James has found this house share that he has decided to live with people and to be able to save in the future for an apartment of his own. So he's going to spend on this £1,400. However, this little flat here, he's going to share with his friends that he knows from uni, so he doesn't feel like he's living with strangers. So James is pretty lucky. He has found this place that has all of the bills included, so he doesn't pay anything additionally. However, Lily has to pay all of her bills on top of her £1,960. So in the UK, we have something called council tax, which everyone has to pay. And essentially it's money that tends to go towards the improvement of roads and bettering of the council and things like that. And in Lily's case, because of the area that she lives in, she has to pay £1,282 annually, which works out to be £107 a month. Whereas James has to pay zero because it's actually included in his rent. In terms of electricity and gas, Lily has to pay £50 a month and also £30 for her internet, whereas James doesn't have to pay anything extra. So straight off the bat, Lily is spending a massive chunk of her income on where she lives. And although she is a 6-minute walk from Portobello Road, which is full of beautiful cafes and, vintage markets at the weekend, James is actually only a 17-minute walk from Portobello Market, so a tiny bit further, but still very much more affordable, but still living in that cute area. Now let's talk about travel to work. So Lily works in an office in Covent Garden, which is right in the centre of London. So she has to take a 38-minute underground journey every day that she goes in there. However, she only goes in twice a week and works from home the remainder of the time. So the tube costs £2.80 for every time that you take it. So Lily goes into the office 8 times a month, but she tends to walk back in the evening so that she gets a little bit of exercise and can save a little bit on the tube. So every month she spends £22.40 on the underground. For James, he was quite switched on. He actually lives very close to his office in Paddington, so it's only about a 10-minute cycle for him, which again he goes in twice a week and works from home for the remainder of the time. So he doesn't spend anything at all on public transport and gets in his exercise that way too. Now let's talk about groceries. So this is an area that Lily feels like she has to cut back on because she's spending so much on her rent. So she spends about £30 a week on her grocery bill. She's not a very good cook, so sometimes she has to buy frozen meals and things like that, which have a high salt content. So she's not exactly eating super well, she's just eating a little bit cheaper. Whereas James spends £55 a week on his food. However, he does a full meal plan, he gets meats on top of this, and he's very aware of nutrition, so he tends to buy things like chicken breasts, steams them, cooks vegetables from scratch, rather than having pre-packaged food or processed food. Now let's talk about phones. Lily has an iPhone which is about 2 years old. However, she pays about £50 a month still because she's still trying to pay it off. However, James has never really been into tech and he's had his phone for the last 3 years and is absolutely fine. He's got a Samsung S10 and it's still in perfect working condition. He only pays £10 a month just for his data, which he doesn't tend to use that much because he's mainly an outdoorsy person. Now let's stop right there and look at the needs of both Lily and James and how much they've spent so far just on needs. So Lily has already spent 80% of her monthly income on her needs, which is her rent, her food, her travel to work, and her bills. That is way more than the recommendation. Usually people go with the 50-30-20 rule, which is where James is falling into nicely. Overall, his needs are adding up to 51% of his monthly income. So the 50-30-20 rule is that 50% of your monthly income should go towards your needs. So James is perfectly falling into this bucket and is on the right trajectory. Now let's go into the wants of Lily and James. So Lily likes to eat out in fancy places. She tends to meet up with her best friend who is not that far away from her. They both live in Notting Hill. However, she spends about £220 every month on eating out in just 2 restaurants because she likes to splurge when she's there. She likes cocktails, she likes to eat out and have a chat and a gossip with her best friend. James is also a foodie. However, he's more inclined to go to food markets. We've got loads of food markets here in London, but he loves to go to Maltby Street Market, he loves to go to Seven Dials in Covent Garden, and he likes to go, of course, to Notting Hill, Portobello Road, and try the local delicacies there. So he spends £165 a month. However, because he's eating at food stalls and trying local cuisines, he's able to get them for a lot cheaper. So he's able to go to food markets a lot more regularly than Lily gets to go to her restaurants twice a month, whereas James gets to go probably twice a week and still have some change left over. Now let's talk about exercise. So Lily is really into the aesthetic of yoga. She's not that good, but she's trying to improve on her exercise, okay? So she has found this place that is £160 a month where you can have 10 classes. It's in Notting Hill, so she's able to walk to that destination. It's very beautiful, very clean, very Instagrammable. So if her exercise is not going to plan, at least she can take pictures. Whereas James is very focused on his fitness. He has decided to splurge a little bit and to join a Virgin Active gym in Notting Hill. This is renowned to be a very expensive gym. However, he's found a good deal that he can pay £93 a month and be able to use the pool, the gym, and the classes for the off-peak prices. This is perfect for him because he works from home 3 days a week. He can of course go in on lunchtimes and avail of the off-peak price. And of course he can go to the gym as many times as he wants, whereas Lily is only paying for 10 classes in that month. Now let's go to clothes. So Lily and James both have the same budget of £100 every month on clothes. Lily would of course love to spend so much more on clothes, but she just can't afford it unless she looks into credit cards, which sometimes she does. However, for this month she spent £100 and she bought 5 t-shirts from Primark just to kind of get the newest colours of the season. However, James has a different mindset to clothes, even though he's spending the same amount. He never goes over £100 and only buys clothes if he needs it, and he only focuses on material rather than what the item is. So he will buy 100% cotton or 100% linen and would only buy 1 or 2 items in that month for £100. So James has spent his £100 on a North Face hoodie, which was 100% cotton, and he knows that it's going to last him for years. Now let's go to the save part of their income. Now Lily has only £70 left in the month. And this is what always happens with her. So if she eats more takeaways in the month or goes to more fancier restaurants, she has a smaller bucket to save in that month. So she never has a set amount, but for this month, she's got £70 that she's going to put into her savings account. Whereas James has £900 left. Now every month, he always invests £600 of this into a Vanguard index fund. He has a stocks and shares ISA in the UK where you can put up to 20 grand every tax year tax-free. So he is very adamant that he wants to invest so he can retire early. So every month he invests £600. And the £300 he puts into a high yield savings account because he wants to buy a property soon in the future. Now, as a reminder, both Lily and James have the exact same salary, live in the exact same part of London, but their future is going to be dramatically different. So Lily only has £70 that she is saving every month. She is only putting it into her local bank savings account. She hasn't even looked at the interest rate that's there, but what she is actually getting is 1.2% of interest. So she also wants to buy a property in the future, but is not that hopeful of when she's going to be able to get there. However, if she saves £70 every month at 1.2%, it's going to take her 21 years to find 20 grand of a deposit to buy a house. That is absolutely mind-boggling of a number of the amount of time she'll have to wait before she can buy a property. So she is only 28 years of age, so she would be 49 before she's able to save up 20 grand to buy a house, which of course is not that feasible. Now, let's look at James. So as we said, James is investing £600 every month. So if he carries on investing that until he's 50 years of age, which is 22 years of investing, okay? If he was to invest at and get 8% as a return in the index fund, which is usually what you would see on average over a long period of time, you would imagine. So when James is 50, he'll have £430,000 of a bucket of money that he could live off and potentially retire early. In comparison to Lily, who was investing absolutely zero, so she would have £0 at the age of 50 in her investments. Now let's talk about the property that James was also saving for. So he's putting in £300 every month into a high yield savings account to get a housing deposit so he can buy somewhere and get out of the renting game. Now James is a bit more switched on with savings accounts, and he didn't just choose any old banking account to go with. He found a high yield savings account and is getting 4% interest. Now Lily could have also done this, but she wasn't switched on to her interest rate, and she could have gotten free money if she just looked quickly on Google. So if James continues to save £300 in his high yield savings account of 4%, it will only take him 5 years to get to £20,000, whereas it took Lily 21 years because she was saving less and also on a worse interest rate. So James in 5 years' time can actually buy a property with his partner, who will also have 20 grand. So together they could buy a £400,000 flat with their 10% deposit. Now I know these two people are made up, but these are the type of people that we see on an everyday basis. They're living with the same salary, same sort of life, but just choosing things that are a little bit outside of their means and not thinking about their future self or investing. It's pretty wild to think that they're both on the exact same salary, but James can retire at 50 with nearly £500,000 and a property under his belt, whereas Lily will just be getting into the property game at that age and have zero money in her investment pot. You can also implement these changes in your life. Do you think you're more like Lily, or are you more like James? If you're more like Lily, there are little ways that you can change your life a little bit to save and invest for your future. Have a look at your savings account. What is the interest rate that you guys currently have? Are you investing? If not, I do a step-by-step on how to invest, which I'll pop up here. I'm pretty new to investing. I only started when I was about 31, so it's never too late. But if you're in your 20s, this is the best time to get into it, because as you've seen with James, the younger you can start with investing, the more compound growth you can get and free money with interest. So you're better to start now than never actually start. Was this comparison a bit of an eye-opener for you? I'd love to know if you're more like Lily or James and what you hope to do in 2025 to maybe change your outcome and maybe change how you can save and invest for your future. I hope this video was helpful. I had a real joy looking at all of these bits and researching real life scenarios of where these people could live. So if you guys live in Notting Hill and you feel like it was a realistic indication of how people can live there, let me know down below. I'd be really interested to hear. But until then guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.